With so much software and so many services available in the short-term rental industry these days, it's increasingly difficult to keep up to date with what's on the market and to determine whether it's a maybe or a must-have for you and your business. So meet one provider each week in a short interview, learning what they do and what they offer. So if you have around 20 minutes to spare, it could prove to be a very good investment to stick around. So let's see who and what is out there, one by one. With me, Deborah Larby, also known as the Guest Inspector. Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Techsplained with the Guest Inspector. Recently, we've heard a lot of the complaints from guests and the job lists that some hosts expect from their guests for checkout. Doing the dishes, vacuuming, laundry, etc. Well, of course, depending on your property type, one of the things that is necessary is taking out the rubbish bins each week. Do you ask your guest to take them out? Is it in the welcome book, or do you text them a reminder each week? Or do you not think it's the guest's job to do this and you look after it yourself? Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night with the bins alarm in your brain? And what if you manage remotely or you want to go on holiday? How can you be certain it's done? In fact, who even likes taking their bins out in their own home? Well, now there is a solution for a small but growing service area, so let's find out how they can help you. Today's guest is Alex from Can Monkey. Hello, Alex. How are you?
Hi, how you doing? Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Thank you very much. Alex, the usual routine is I'm going to go straight into it and ask, what does Can Monkey do in one sentence?
Can Monkey is the first trash to curb service provider in the United States.
Right. Okay. So I'm a property manager. I want to use your service. This is great. It's taking away one big headache. What do I do?
You go to our website, canmonkey.com. You go right to the section where it says sign up. We have a lot of information we can look into a little bit more, but it's really cut and dry. You go right to sign up. You put in the pertinent information that we would need or that you would tell your neighbor on how to take your cans out. So if the cans are in the garage, the cans are in the side of the gate, there's a lock box, there's whatever pertinent information you would tell anyone to take your cans out. That's the information that we need. We're only as good as the information given to us. Once we provide all that information, we then now get your property. We add it into our route. We let you know the start date of when we can add into our route. Usually it's with the fall. So if you give it to us like a Thursday or Friday, typically it's the following Sunday or Monday when you go into the next week. If you need it beforehand and we're able to get it on a route, we can rush it. We usually ask for the following week. And that it's pretty cut and dry. Like we make it try pretty easy as possible. Just go on the website, see if we're in your area, put in your information, done.
Okay. Now you mentioned garage. Now, what happens with the garage? Do you actually hang on to a remote control?
No. So when we went to the Utah Park City market, a lot of the cans were in their garages because they're on hills and there's snow. So that was a new territory for us. We went in that market. What we found is everyone has garage codes, and just like you would give to someone else, they gave us those garage codes. So in that market, we background check all of our people. But in that market, we have different employees more that work for us because they're going into garages. But it's the same thing. You open the garage, take the can out, take a picture of the can, take it to the curb. The next day you bring it into the garage, take a picture, you leave. We have hundreds of properties in the Park City area. We've been doing this for a couple of years. No issues. People always think that there's going to be, people are just trying to get in the garage, take the cans to the curb and back. 2 minutes at each property and then leave. So
you're talking about taking a photo. So does that mean as a property manager, I get notified the bin is out and the bin is in. So peace of mind.
And that's what we found is that no one really knew where their cans were. If their cans were supposed to be at the curb, they didn't know. So now what we do is we're documenting for you. We have timestamp pictures. It's completed. So when the can's at the curb, there's a picture of it. When the can's back at the original location, there's a picture of it. If the cans, were full and we couldn't get to it because the guests left an abundance of trash and we can't move the cans, we'll take a picture and still notify you like, hey, there's all this excess trash. We have another service that we can ask if you want us to remove that trash for you. So really, we don't want our host to do anything with the trash. We want to be their eyes and ears. A lot of them are not at the properties anyways.
Yeah.
So we're their eyes and ears. We're there, sometimes 16 times a month. If their trash and recycling days are on separate days, you're
Yeah.
there and back 4 times a week.
Yeah.
So we're at the properties almost more than their, team is sometimes. So they really rely on us and making sure that, if anything goes wrong, even outside the trash, we try to let our clients know that, hey, we saw this, or hey, your guest said this to us, or whatever it is. Give them extra eyes and ears.
Okay, so this is very interesting because on your website it says that one service is the one can and one recycle bin. And I mean, look, I'm from Australia and I'm sure it's different in Europe too, but the different times that the rubbish people come. So in Australia, it'll be one day for the regular rubbish and one of the recycle bins. And then there's like at random times. So of what rubbish bin has to go out on these particular days. And you also listed one of the big headaches. It's a public holiday. Does the bin go out or not? How do we know? What do we do? So all of that.
And that's really, yes. And that's another benefit of using us. I mean, our prices is a flat $49 a month for our service in 99% of our markets right now in the United States. And with that comes with any date changes. Right now we have Thanksgiving coming up. We have Christmas coming up. We have New Year's coming up. These are like the 3 major holiday changes of the year that, it changes. We take care of all that in all of our markets. We'll let you know that's changing. Most of the time people don't even read their emails and they're like, hey, we already got it. We already sent you an email. So we do all that for you. Yeah. Typically what we do is the day before service pickup from the city, we will take the cans to the curb, just like you would at your house. Yep. The following day when the city empties your can, we come within hours afterwards to remove the cans back to the original location. There's some markets that we're in that have homeowner association in their communities where they're getting a little bit more strict. And so there's some markets that per their instructions, the HOA, the homeowners association, they're making it hard in these regulations for the short-term rentals. They're saying you have to get your cans, out by 5 or 6 the night before. So there's some markets that they kind of pivot a little bit and then just kind of change our the time, but for the most part, it's not been an issue. We have HOAs in Scottsdale area where we're at in Arizona that we've been able to guinea pig test these things, and it's working out really good. So we're not really worried about any other regulations coming out because we already know that we can handle it.
Yeah. And what about like a very large home that might have 3 bins? As part of that $49 a month, that's 3 bins out to the street.
So there are little extra charges. So for example, in Scottsdale, we have mountains. And so if your driveway is like on a mountain, 100 yards, there's an extra $5 charge for that. If you have more than 4 cans, you get like 6 cans because it's a short-term rental, a $5 charge for that. So instead of $49, it'd be $59 for a really long driveway and extra cans. Yeah. So we still try to keep it very fair. But that's why I said like 99% of the properties are $49 a month. If you have extra trash, because we have to, charge a little bit more. But besides that, it's the $49.
Yeah. And you mentioned the on demand. So for example, there's 1 bin and there's 5 rubbish bags. So can you take them away on the spot when the bin guy comes to have a look at it, like 5 extra bags? Can he take them away then and there, or does he then organize it with you? Okay, photograph, etc. So you tell me.
Great question, because everyone thinks that it should be that simple, and it could be. The thing is, when we started Cam Monkey, they started a whole new category for us called Trash to Curb, and that's why I say that we're the first, because there's no other category. When they did that, we had to get insurance, like any business would. They're like, you can't go behind, the gate. Why? Pool companies do, landscapers do. Okay, I guess you can. Well, you can't do this. I'm like, why? So I kept. One of the things that they got us on is you can't touch the bags. And I was like, okay, like you're not in that department of like waste management where, so, and there's also our insurance would go up because what if they got, hit with a piece of glass from, so we said, okay, we'll stick in this little realm with us. We'll just take the cans to the curb and back. And so that's what started. But what we found is when we were back there, we saw all this excess trash coming up. And so what we'd do is our can runners is what we call them. They would alert us and say, hey, headquarters, there's at 123 West Elm, there's a lot of trash bags. We'd get that picture, and we incentivize our can runners for every picture they send. They get compensated. So we want them to send pictures to us, even if it's not a picture that is something that should be good. At least if a client says no, we're good, I'm okay with still compensating for them to give me those pictures. So they're trained to give us pictures. They want to give us pictures. So the more information and the more data that we get, we just give back to you, and we'll say, hey, here's what we found at your property. Would you like us to get this removed in the next 24 hours? And you say, yes, please. I have a guest coming tomorrow. We got you.
Mhm.
Thank you. Send you a picture after it's done. So we try to keep everything seamless and everything in our house, but communicating with you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. Now, you also run eco-friendly. You're an eco-friendly kind of business. So your cars are eco-friendly, and tell us about the recycling too.
Yeah, so when we are looking for our can runners, so as much as I'm in the short-term rental industry, I'm also in the gig economy. So my clients are the short-term rental owners. I also have clients that take the cans to the curb. Those are my clients just as much as my homeowners. So with that being said, when I look for these gig economy drivers, a lot of them are Uber, Uber Eats, Grubhub, Instacart, these companies that already exist in the world, driving in their car. When we're looking, some of the demographics that we're looking for is your car. What kind of car do you have? Do you have a hybrid? Do you have a Prius? And for us also, it lets us know that if someone's working with us with an efficient car, it's only helping them too. If someone comes with us with a diesel truck, hey, this is not the right fit for you. If someone comes, some markets like Park City, it's a little bit different because you have to have four-wheel drive. There's snow, there's the hills, there's mountains. It's kind of hard to have, unless they had like one of those new Tesla,
Yeah.
trucks or something. But
Yeah.
right now, that's one of the markets that we're not. Recycling though, we take the recycling cans to the curb, and then the recycling company comes and takes those. A lot of companies that, not a lot, but companies that do similar to what we do, they just do the junk removal. They just put all the things in one and then remove it all. So they're not recycling. So how we help with recycling is still getting the cans to the curb and back. If people say they renovated a new Airbnb and they bought a bunch of cardboard or they bought a bunch of furniture, we get calls for on-demand junk removal for a garage full of cardboard boxes. Those right there, we'll take those right to the recycling dump or the recycling cardboard. And so there's some things that when we are able to completely control what is in there, we'll take it right to the recycling. When, boxes from coming into a new Airbnb or a short-term rental. But for the most part, taking the cans to the curb and letting the city do their job, recycling is how we handle it.
Yeah.
And then if they need cardboard boxes or anything removed, we take that for them. But we try to be as much efficiently on.
Yeah. That's fantastic. I mean, look, you know what? I know that you said your clients are Airbnb hosts and managers and things like that, but you could do it at my place if you want. Like, I don't want to be having to think about rubbish bins every week. But that's, I think,
No,
great service.
that's how it started, was for the homeowner, actually. When we started in Scottsdale, Arizona, it was meant for homeowners.
Mm-hmm.
So we still have a lot of homeowners, but what we found is that the short-term rental industry really needed our help.
That's
And
the
so,
biggest headache. Yeah.
and when we get into new markets, homeowners are always the second people to sign up. So it would be hard to get to a new market with just one property.
Sure.
But when you get to a new market with 20 properties or 30 properties from one client, it's a little bit different. And then when you're there, then I can go to Deborah and say, hey, Deborah, go give us your one property. And then we add it on.
Yeah. And in the on your website for the homeowners, you mentioned about cleaning the rubbish bins, giving them a clean out. Do you do that for the vacation rental ones as well? Can I organize that? And is that a separate service?
So our bread and butter is the trash to curb service providing. We call ourselves a vacation rental trash solutions company because our bread and butter is the trash to curb, but I don't like saying no. I like giving you the options for the on-demand junk removal, whether they're, you do it the day of, or you give us your departure dates the week before, and we go the departure dates and remove. I like letting you know that your cans can be cleaned. Anything with your trash can, I want to take care of for you. So we have quarterly subscriptions, we have monthly subscriptions for the can cleaning, and we just facilitate it all for you. We're actually doing ours right now in the Phoenix market right now, and we're getting it done this week. So we facilitate it with 4 times a year if you're doing the quarterly, and making sure that your guests have clean cans. I mean, you don't really realize how dirty they get, but when people are throwing, you have a bunch of different people coming in, cooking different foods, putting things in there. You get babies, you have people with dogs, whatever it is. Get your cans clean. It's a really simple process.
That picture.
And for our can runners, we see it. They're like, "Oh, this is so dirty." So hey, you're helping us. We're helping you. We're helping everyone. So if you want it, it's there. And that's just it's a $45 quarterly subscription. So for $45 every quarter,
you clean the bins. Yeah, great. And stay on top of the cleaning. It's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Really just try to be a one-stop shop. Don't have to worry about your rubbish. Don't have to worry about your trash. Don't have to worry about anything. And if you do have to worry about it, or your guests have to worry about it, then you have a solution now.
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of your unique selling point, the whole business is a unique selling point.
Yeah, yeah,
I haven't come across rubbish collection like this before. Very good.
yeah.
Yeah.
We were the first. So
Yeah.
in the United States, it's really unique. But what I'm finding now doing this for 5 years,
Yeah.
um, it's getting a little bit easier. And the reason why I feel like is because we've been very consistent and very persistent for a very long time.
Mm.
And as much as it's easy taking cans to the curb and back, when you have 20 properties, it gets really hard when you are in 8 states and over 40 markets. And right now we're doing over 30,000 stops a month,
Oof.
over 1,200 routes a month.
Ah.
And we're just getting started. And with that, we have our own technology and our own application that we're building on our end to make sure that everything is, our eyes are on it, our I's are dotted, our T's are crossed.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, it's not getting easier. We've hit all the speed bumps, we hit all the mistakes, we've learned, we failed forward. So now going forward, now where we're at, people are now hearing about us. And when we're already in a market, it's a lot easier to add on properties. Now when we go into new markets, we just got into the Minnesota market with like 21 properties within 10 days. And I didn't think that we were going to be able to do it. So that was new for us. That was a big deal. I mean, I've never been to Minneapolis. I've never been to Minnesota. I don't, so that was new for us. So it's getting easier, but I think a lot of it is we're trusting our systems, we're trusting our processes, we're trusting our team, and we just know that we can do it. And then we're trusting our clients that are trusting us. So it's like a big amount of trust all around.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you just touched on routes, and I would say routes, but yes, when you're talking about the efficiency of the vehicle, having an efficient route is really important too. You don't want them doubling back on themselves and things like that. So I think, logistically, creating that route to be the most efficient would be very interesting.
We right now in our Phoenix market and a lot of other markets too, but I talk about Phoenix in Arizona because that's our incubator. That's where we started, our hub. Majority, probably 85% of our routes are 15 to 20 properties that can get done within an hour.
Oh,
and
great.
and that's where we're trying. That's what we're going for in all our markets.
Yeah.
And we know that if we can get 15 to 20 stops done within an hour, we're paying our person $20 an hour. Like they're making good money and making maybe more than that with some bonuses. And we're making anywhere from 40 to 60% profit margins on that. So you're right. As long as our routes are tight. So when we go into a new market, like that Minnesota market, we'll probably lose money on that. And I'm okay with that, knowing that when I did my Air DNA research, I did my other research in the area, I know I can get to 100 properties. I know I can get to 200 properties.
Yeah.
So I'll lose some money in the beginning to get my foot in the door and show that trust and show that, hey, we're here. And then once we're there, when we get the next properties, it's just easier now. And then it just gets a little bit, the route gets better. The route gets better. And then the route gets so better that we have to get another route and then have to get another route. And then
fantastic.
That's how we're at like 325 now. So it's growing.
Fantastic. So in terms of your target audience, just someone with one property, and in fact, they don't even need to have a property. As long as they've got a home with their own rubbish bin that needs to be taken out, that's enough to be a client.
Yes, that's exactly it. Ideally, anyone with a property, I love to help. Our bread and butter right now are people who have like 10 to 15 properties. That's where they're doing them, because what we say is everyone has a system or solution right now. And what I've found is it's 50 to 75% at best accurate without CanMonkey. With CanMonkey, I say we ensure your trash cans are always empty, whether it's us taking the cans to the curb and back and the city empties them, or on-demand junk removal service. There's been times where we've taken the cans back behind their house empty, and that day checkout happens, the cleaning team leaves, throws the trash bags in, and then I get a call saying, you guys missed today. I look into our system, I see that we are there, I see that we took the can back 2 hours ago. My next question is, did you have someone leave today? Yep. Did they clean today? Yep. Do you think that was from the cleaners? Can you come get an on-demand schedule? I got you. But usually goes to, you're wrong, Alex, to let me show you all of our data that we have. Let me show you all the information. And then if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But hey, you're right. We missed this one. I think we did the neighbor's house. I don't know what happened, but I'm going to send someone out there right away. Like, let me fix it for you. When you're doing 30,000 stops, even if you're 99% accurate and you're 1% wrong, you're still missing 300 properties a month. So it's a numbers game, but we're trying now to get to 99.9% accuracy. So every day we're trying to get a little bit better, 1% better every day.
Yeah. And you did mention that it's $49 a month and the extras for the garbage cleaning and on demand, et cetera. And just to double check, there's no contract. So it's sort of like 1 month, you pay $49. So it's the next month is like, oh, you know what? I want to do it myself. I can just say bye. Okay.
monthly subscription. And I think people really like that. And what we found is there's some people that have a lot of properties and, they don't want us going anywhere. And so they're like, can we do a year contract? And I was like, if you want to, like we're not going anywhere. So they're more eager about not losing us. So it's a really good, this community of the short-term rental community has been very amazing. They're very welcoming, and ultimately everyone just wants their guests to have a good experience. And that's
Yeah.
what we want. So that's what they want. So if they can find a partner that they know that can help them with the rubbish, the trash, or whatever it is,
Mm.
knowing that that could be the littlest thing that a client complains about right when they walk in, and now they're getting a refund because someone else's trash is there when they thought they just did a great job of getting that place turned over in a perfect
Mm.
time, and
Mm.
you're complaining about the trash. So we just make sure that it's all eliminated. So you give us your
Yeah.
departure dates beforehand. So now we know when your guys are leaving on the 20th, and then the cleaners leave at 12, we're there at 1 o'clock. So, and your guests checking at 4.
Mhm.
So it's like one more step. And now we're working with like PMS companies getting integrated into their system. So
Yeah.
now with the hosts that are on their PMS systems, they can now have an option of just going to trash solutions or on
Yeah.
demand.
Yeah. I was going to ask actually, if I do want to order an on demand, so let's say, hey, the cleaners have just said there's rubbish in the bin and I've got to check in and I don't want that rubbish in the bin. How am I doing that with you? How am I communicating with you? Is there an app, or do I put it on the dashboard, or do I have to call you?
Yep, good questions. CamMonkey.com/on demand. Right now is
Okay.
a single page website. You go right to that, and it pulls up a single page website where you just put in your information, your company's name, your address, a picture if you have it,
Yeah.
and then we let you know when we're going to be there. And it's typically 24 to 36 hours. If
Okay.
you send that to us 11 o'clock a.m. or before, we'll get it that day. If
Okay.
you send it 11 or after, we'll get before 10 o'clock the next morning.
Okay.
So we're really, and that's like if you just come into something that moment.
Mm.
If you know that you have a departure date ahead of time and you give us those departure dates, then we can get there within hours.
Mhm.
Um, and then our on-demand service, we have different pricing for different, but for the most part, it's so for what you just said right now, say you get to your property and you just need something gone, you go to
Mm.
the website, it's $49 for the first trash can to be emptied, and then $20 for additional trash cans. So
Mhm.
if you have one trash can and another one, it'd be $69 for both those getting removed. And
Mhm.
then if you have any extra bags on the ground, it's $2 a bag on the ground. So we
Mhm.
try to keep it really, really low. What we found is our biggest competitor before was 1-800-JUNK, and they were
Mhm.
charging $150 just to go out there for a shoebox. So
Oh,
what we found now with our 2 trash cans to get removed, you're still almost paying less than half of that. So, and there's other companies that are coming around that are doing like junk removal only, which is great, So we still try to keep this, there for our clients. And that's why we also have the on-demand scheduled or the departure scheduled as well, because
yeah.
we try to just make sure that it's as easy as possible.
Just back after a little technical issue. So, Alex, can you tell me, you service a very specific area in the US. What are your service areas currently?
We currently are in 8 states and over 40 markets within those states. So the 8 states are California, Utah, Arizona, Colorado, Tennessee, Florida, and now Minnesota. And then, like, for example, in Florida, we have 7, 8 different markets in there. We're in 30A up northwest, down to Miami, over to Orlando and Tampa. So in one state, we're not, we're spread out. In Phoenix, we're in a lot of markets. So in Utah, we're just in Park City. In California, we're in Malibu, Los Angeles, and San Obispo. So we're expanding. And so how we get into a new market is if anyone has, or whether it's 5 people with 5 properties, or one company with 25 properties, or 25 people with one property, how we get into a new market is with around 25 properties within a 10-mile, 15-mile radius. And we can make a route out of that after doing some other due diligence. But that's what we found so far. For example, like I told you earlier, we got into Minnesota with 21 properties.
Hmm.
And then already within 2 weeks, we already had on another 10 properties going. So we
Yeah.
just know, like, once we get in the door, we can now start using our sales and marketing and getting other people.
Yeah. So you do take requests.
We do. We actually have a lot of people who are interested, and we have a lot of interested markets that we're not in yet.
Yeah.
But we like are close. Like on our internal end, I'll be like, okay, where are we at next? And they're like, hey, we only need like 5 more properties in
Yeah.
San Diego. I'll be like, okay, cool. So then I'll push San Diego.
Do you keep property managers I don't know about the homeowners, but do you keep property managers up to date? Like, hey, if you know of any others, because I mean, a lot of property managers are connected on Facebook groups,
Yeah.
and if they can get word out and get the numbers up enough to get a route going, then that's isn't that what you want? So is that what
A
you
thousand. Yes,
Yeah.
I love that you brought that up because I'll tell you a story real fast. How we got into the Colorado, Denver market in Colorado. Uh, I reached out to someone, they had 13 properties and they really wanted our service really bad. And I said, look, with 13 properties, unfortunately, right now, I can't make a route out of that. That would make sense. I was like, do you know anyone else in your market that does what you do that could maybe would use our service too? Like if they're like-minded like you and you need it, maybe they need it too. And he goes, you mean a competitor of mine? And
Oh,
I said, well, more of a collaborator of yours, someone that is in the same realm as you. And we kind of ended that phone call and it wasn't really, he was kind of annoyed. And I think 2 weeks later, I get a call from him and he goes, hey, I got you 30 properties. You ready to get started in Denver? And I said, what happened? He goes, I found someone with 25. And I was like, let's go. So back to your point, like I now spin it back to people because like I want to be everywhere, but I got to do smart business moves. And so if you know your market better than I do, which you should, if you're the one that has 13 properties in Denver, Colorado, you should know your market really well. And you should know some of your collaborators, people who would need the same thing. And so that's what we found from going into that market. To now when we go into other markets like Minnesota or anywhere now, we always ask that question, like, hey, who do you know? And sometimes it's like, they're kind of like standoffish, but when they understand the better scheme of everything, they like it.
Yeah. Well, we've come to the end of the usual questions. Is there anything else that we haven't touched on that you think we should know about?
The only thing I would kind of touch on that you probably haven't is just our own personal application that we have coming out, our own user dashboard for our clients. So, for example, if you have 25 properties with us and now you have your own dashboard that you can log into and see all the pictures, all the timestamp, everything. So right now, that's not what we have for our clients. They're kind of trusting us. They call us. We'll give them all the information because we have it in our own internal system. We're getting the process now where we'll give you your own login and password. So now you have all of your portfolio under CamMonkey at your fingertips. And so that's the only thing right now that's different, that is going into 2023, that some clients that are with us are not aware yet because it's still in the making, but we're beta testing it right now.
Yeah. And is that going to be where if I needed an on-demand service, I could just book it through that dashboard?
Yeah. It's going to be a one-stop shop. Yep. Everything.
Right.
And then it'd be like a little marketplace. Like maybe if you need like some like, some other things in your area, we'll partner with some other people. So it's going to be nice. So we're going to try and make it as easy as possible to make sure your trash, rubbish, everything is in one spot. And, right now people are just kind of all around and they don't know what's going on. A maintenance guy is taking it this way, a cleaner's taking it this way, a guest is taking it this way. And now you're just like, you know what? CamMonkey has it. I'll go to Alex or I'll go to my person at CamMonkey, and I go to one person now and know the whole thing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you want CamMonkey to come to your jungle, put in a request on their website. Otherwise, Alex, it's been very interesting talking to you about CamMonkey. If you have any questions for Alex, pop them in the comments below. If you want to make a request, pop them in the comments below too. I will put the link for CamMonkey in the description. Alex, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Deborah. Thank you.
Really great hearing about it. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Yeah, see you soon. Thank you.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you'd like to catch up on ones you've missed, just head to the Techsplained Or if you're short for time, you can head to thetechminis.com where you'll find extra short interviews. See you next time.